प्रशत देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अष्टोत्तर डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिगोर धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मई जमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Guru and Gaura.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Monday, July 28th, 2025. Today we're starting with Srimad Bhagavatam 4:20:12. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Guru Maharaj, are you in a place where you want to take over the reading, or should we? You're muted, Guru Maharaj.
I don't have a crowd here.
Okay. Okay, then I will start with
Maybe try this, put this line on and see.
text 12. Vinasya Vingasya Guna Prabhaho Dravya Kriya Karaka Chetanat Mana Tristasu Sampas Su Vipatsu Surayo Na Vikriyante Mayavada Sorada. Translation. Lord Vishnu told King Prithu, "My dear king, the constant change of this material world is due to the interaction of the three modes of material nature, the five elements, the senses, the demigods who control the senses, as well as the mind, which is agitated by the spirit soul. All these taken together comprise the body. Since the spirit soul is completely different from this combination of gross and subtle material elements, my devotee who is connected with me, an intense friendship and affection, being completely in knowledge, is never agitated by material happiness and distress." Purport. Question may be raised that if the living entity has to act as the superintendent of the activities of the bodily combination, then how can he be indifferent to the activities of the body? The answer is given here. These activities are completely different from the activities of the spirit soul of the living entity. A crude example can be given in this connection. A businessman riding in a motor car sits in the car, supervises its running, and advises the driver. He knows how much gasoline is used up, and he knows everything about the car, but still he is apart from the car and is more concerned with his business. Even while riding in the car, he thinks of his business and his office. He has no connection with the car, although he is sitting there. As the businessman is always absorbed in thoughts of his business, so the living entity can be absorbed in thoughts of rendering loving service to the Lord. Then it will be possible to remain separate from the activities of the material body. This position of neutrality can be possible only for a devotee. Guru Maharaj and others, do you have any comments at this point?
Okay. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadama Yam Dadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sagana Raganatam Vitam Sam Sajiva Sadvaitam Savatutam Prijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Shahagana Lodita Sri Vishakam Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandho Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Panchakolptarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Pyevacha Tita Nam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is an important question often asked. I have so much going on in the material world. How do I how do I act in Krishna consciousness? And here, this is answered by saying that the activities of the gross and subtle bodies are different from the interests of the spirit soul. And so, while tending to the affairs of this material world, still one can remain focused in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada gives the practical example. I've never driven a car, but we see that people drive their cars, but meanwhile they're thinking about their business, they're talking about their business, they're doing so many other things. And the car's business of tending to the car is almost automatic, needs some attention, but that's not the focus of our attention. So that's expressed in Bhagavad Gita. Padmapatram Ivambasa. The Krishna conscious person is like a lotus leaf situated on the water. Although situated in that way, it's separate. So binasya lingasya guna pravaha dravya kriya karaka chaitanatmana. The body consists of physical elements and the activities of the senses and the mind, with the demigods involved in the whole process of sensory activities. But Trishtashu Sampatsu Vipatsu Surya, those who are advanced devotees, advanced in knowledge, experience happiness, distress, but not vikriyante. They're not disturbed by these things. They're not, for them, it's not, as we would say, a big deal, because Mai Bhatta Saurada, they're bound to Krishna in transcendental friendship, and that sense of Krishna consciousness overwhelms any material attachment that might be there. And the Prabhupada comments, the karmis just absorb themselves in bodily activities. The gyanis try to get out by mental speculation. The yogis also are involved in the bodily concept of life with yam, niyam, pranayam, and so on. But the devotee is transcendental because he's engaged in the service of Krishna. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has a commentary. How can the jiva be free of birth and death by just being indifferent to the body and senses while supervising them? Then the answer is given. Samsara arises from the subtle body, which is different from the jiva. Cause of difference is stated. The subtle body has a swarup of sense objects, sense organs, sense devatas, and intelligence. Meaning is this: by identity with the subtle body, the jiva undergoes samsara. We identify with the subtle body, which is connected with the gross body. But if he's detached from the subtle body, he does not undergo samsara. Though he supervises the subtle body, this is not harmful for the jiva. Though he possesses the subtle body and interacts with it, he does not identify with it. It has been said that one can become free of samsara by striving for it by bhakti mishra gyan. Swadharmena, verse 9. But by pure bhakti, even without striving for freedom from samsara, one attains that result. Then he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam. Jarayatya shuya kosham nigirnam analo yata. That bhakti quickly destroys the subtle body, just as the fire of digestion consumes food. This is 3:25:33. The devotional service consumes the subtle body, destroys the subtle body, ashu, quickly, just as the digestive fire consumes food. That is stated in this verse. The devotee is not disturbed by material happiness and distress because he has no attachment for the world. The reason for non-attachment is given. He's bound to me by friendship. This condition arises from pure bhakti. This is stated in the third canto. Okay. Any other comments, questions?
We have something in the chat. And how's my audio? Can you hear me okay?
Fine.
Okay. Praveen Prabhu writes, Naiva kinchit karo miti indriyan indriya seshu vartanta ite darayan.
Yeah. In the third chapter, I guess it is Bhagavad Gita. Naiva kinchit karomi ti yuktamanyeta tattvavid. The person in knowledge sees that while I'm interacting, while I'm doing things, I'm picking things up, I'm putting things down, I'm seeing, I'm opening my eyes and closing my eyes. While everything is going on, indriyan indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharya. He's saying, oh, this is all the business of the senses and the sense objects. So let it go on. Vartanta iti dharya. He's seeing what does this have to do with me?
That's the verse directly preceding the one you quoted, Gurmach, Brahmanyadhaya Karmani.
Thank you, Naveen. Okay.
Okay, continuing to the second paragraph of text 12. The word bada sharda, bound in friendship, is particularly used here. Karmis, yanis, and yogis cannot be bound in devotional service. Karmis fully engage in the activities of the body. Their aim of life is to give comfort to the body only. Yanis try to get out of entanglement by philosophical speculation, but they have no standing in a liberated position. Because they do not take shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord, they fall down from the exalted position of Brahman realization. Yogis also have a bodily concept of life. They think that they can achieve something spiritual by exercising the body through dharana, asana, pranayama, etc. A devotee's position is always transcendental because of his intimate relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, to remain always aloof from the actions and reactions of the body and engage in one's real occupation, namely rendering service to the Lord, can be possible only for devotees. Any comments there, Guru Maharaj and others?
No, I think we covered that territory. Any other comments here? Questions? Oh, there's a comment from Lakshmana. Reverencias Gurudev, ¿cómo balancear el desapego y la vez tener empatía? How do we balance detachment with having empathy? The empathy should be from the spiritual platform. We see that Krishna had no empathy for Arjuna. Arjuna's, oh, and Krishna's practically laughing at him. Asochanam Vasotras Tvam Bhagavatam Strabhasha say. This is all rubbish. So naturally, Krishna has empathy, but it's not for this immediate temporary confusion. It's for the soul proper. We saw, we know that Prabhupada in Vrindavan, there was some young girl who came to Vrindavan, and she was going to die, devotee girl. And Prabhupada didn't give her any, oh. He just gave her spiritual instructions, clear spiritual instructions. So that's not callousness. It's the opposite. What does your oh do? Doesn't accomplish very much. Prabhupada says it's like blowing on a boil, making it feel better by blowing on it. That doesn't cure the condition. So our empathy, of course, there's natural feeling for others, but the real empathy is that here's this person whose real relationship is with Krishna. And how can I remind him of that or enhance that? For the devotees, we try to enhance or reinforce their sense of being Krishna conscious. And for the non-devotees, we try to invoke detachment and consciousness of Krishna. That's real empathy. Atmopam yena sarvatra samam pashyati urjana sukham va yadiva dukkham sayogi paramo mata. Krishna says that the best yogi sees all others to be like himself in their happiness and distress. Sukham va yadiva dukkham. So it's not that for that reason he gets involved in mundane welfare work and all of that, but he has the greatest empathy because he goes to the very root of their problem. Yes, it's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know he opened no hospitals, he performed no mundane philanthropic activities, but not because he was callous, rather because he saw the greater need of the living entity. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, I have a question.
See.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, there's something in the chat from Charaswati. Machi. Oh, did you finish there, Guru Maharaj? Did I cut you off? Okay. Okay, Saraswati Mataji writes, Pranams from Puja Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas. How can we understand how a devotee may not be able to completely disconnect from some minor bodily pain, but a soldier non-devotee can disconnect from great bodily pain?
It's according to the training of the subtle body. Some have just enormous capability for toleration, for tolerance. Some soldiers can't at all disconnect from bodily pain. They'll disconnect when you load them up with morphine. We see that the ordinary soldier doesn't so easily disconnect from that, and therefore the Vietnam War, so much of it was fought on hashish and other such things, and then morphine for serious pain. But yes, there are instances where, perhaps not so uncommon, where soldiers or others perceive or understand that disconnection between body and mind. They perceive that under hypnosis that can be enhanced also disconnection between feelings of pain and one's own mind. So there are those who are practiced to those things, but they're not situated in the spiritual self. Even if they have that skill of separating the subtle body from the gross body, they identify with the subtle body and not with the soul. So they're still deficient. And the devotee may find it difficult or not. We saw the extent to which Srila Prabhupada was detached from his bodily situation. Kaviraj said that an ordinary person would have been screaming in that situation. And Prabhupada was calm. And we've seen this with others also, Kadamba Maharaj, tolerating huge inconvenience. So it's possible devotees can achieve that. But even if some devotee is not so expert, or somehow, whatever, experiences that's in one sense superficial. The devotee knows that I'm not this body, that I'm Krishna's servant. And when he becomes, because sometimes that also comes and goes, like Arjuna, he forgot the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, and he was morose that I've been defeated by these coward men, and everything's gone terrible. But then when he remembered Krishna's instructions, then it said that all the trash in his mind subsided and he became properly situated. So that may happen. A devotee, it's not, what's the word, just like a mechanical situation that he's always 100% situated in this or that state of mind. But even if he comes in contact with some temporary happiness or distress, he always has that spiritual understanding to take shelter of, so that, and as soon as he becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna, he forgets about this so-called happiness and distress. And the materialist, even if he, again, can separate the mind from the body, he's still on the mental platform, and therefore still subject to samsara. Whereas the devotee, even if he experiences some trouble, he just becomes purified by that experience. And finally, he goes back to God. Hare Krishna.
Lakshmana says, "Thank you, Gurudev." And I have a question. How do we see? We hear about those that have are so aloof from bodily consciousness that they seem almost like madmen, but they're very exalted devotees. So how do we see those devotees in this line?
Devotees who are like madmen, they just seem aloof from everything.
Yeah, or that, and they're genuinely like very advanced, but they're not really engaged in preaching, but they're just like absorbed in transcendence or
that's possible. Not that the only position of Krishna consciousness is the position of preaching. Prabhupada so much emphasized the importance of that. But if there are devotees who are not preachers, they're bhajananandis, still they may experience this same perfection. Or sometimes they're devotees who preach, and then at some point they withdraw from preaching. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was preaching and preaching. Then in his later activities, he withdrew from preaching in the mature stage. So, yes, a devotee who may be a preacher or may not be a preacher can become course, those who are preachers, they have to remain connected. They can't just be avadhutas, because they have to arrange for the preaching. They have to speak with the ordinary people. They have so many practical activities. So it's difficult to be an avadhuta and a preacher at the same time, although possible. But generally, those we saw, like Prabhupada, he didn't take up the role of an avadhuta. He took up the role of a practical preacher of Krishna consciousness. But that's not, or others may not. They may be in the avadhuta situation. They may be just like madmen. But both of them are absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Just one in the mood of preaching with personal bhajan. Yeah. Prabhupada mentions that Lord Nityananda was both a preacher and an avadhuta, so it's possible. Increasingly difficult today. And there may be devotees, by the way, who'd like they'd like to cut an avadhuta profile and be avadhutas and preachers, but it's more profile than substance. They want to be free to act whimsically, so that's like taking this business of the avadhuta to act whimsically. But in their case, it's not in the case of the neophyte, it's not a sign of advanced devotional service that they're avadhutas. It's just a sign of being whimsical, which is a typical situation of the neophyte. If he dresses without regard for the ordinary conventions, for him, it's not because he's absorbed in the spiritual platform. It's because cutting a profile like that is cool. He'd rather look renounced than be renounced.
Sure.
So Prabhupada, for example, shave your head, shave your face. No, I'm an avadhuta, I'm beyond that. And so I keep my beard, I keep my mustache, I keep my hairy head. And that's because I'm advanced. No, it's not because I'm advanced. If I were renounced, then I'd renounce my hair, renounce my beard for the sake of pleasing the spiritual master, the acharya. But because I'm attached, I keep these things. But then I may market it as detachment. No, it's not detachment. It's attachment. There's a hand up from Shamsundur. Ooh.
Prabhu, we can't hear you. Can you write something in chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Quick comment from Praveen Prabhu, or even being very lazy.
Yeah. I tend usually not, it's, maybe say, oh, I just didn't have time, I was lazy. No, it's you're cutting a profile. How much time does it take to shave one's face, shave one's head? It's not that. But lazy in the sense of dull. No, it doesn't sound good, Shamsundu.
Let me see if I can.
No,
How about now?
that sounds better.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Are there examples that show like the relationship between the real avadhuts and the spiritual master? I mean, considering that they're on such a strange platform or such a high platform, and I suppose you could say they're completely spontaneous. What does that look like?
Just like Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he was an avadhuta. He wasn't acting according to social conventions, so he would sometimes chant his rounds in the sitting near the latrine to avoid the materialists who would pester him. There are others also who would, not care about ordinary social conventions. Their business was to think about Krishna and serve Krishna. And if they've sometimes felt transcendental emotions, then those might be expressed in one way or another way. Avadhuta, Nityananda Prabhu is given rightly as an example of an Avadhuta. But Avadhuta means advanced. Avadhuta means genuinely advanced. And Prabhupada didn't encourage us, yes, you should all be Avadhutas. Because in the name of being Avadhutas, we'll just become like hippies. The hippies resembled Avadhutas externally, beards and unconventional behavior and all of that. But they were nothing like Avadhutas. They were just intoxicated fools. So, and Prabhupada saw that. Again, he would see hair growing on the heads of his devotees, and he would call them hippie seeds. These hairs were the seeds growing again of hippie life, which was like the false reflection of Avadhuta. So that, yeah.
I've heard Sahajiya described as, you could correct me if I'm wrong, those folks who take devotional service cheaply. So is this like another form of Sahajiya, or?
Yes, Sahaj means easy. So Sahajiyas are those who take everything cheap and easy. So yeah, they take everything as cheap and easy. Sahajiya. Prakrita Sahajiya, but they're materialistic. And therefore everything cheap. They think they can jump into transcendence. They can imitate Avadhutas, and that will somehow or other make them Avadhutas. They can imitate the gopis by dress or behavior in some way, and that will make them like gopis. But it's like a cheap thing. It's a cheap thing. So, see if we can make this go. So that's gone away. Yes, so Sahaja means cheap. Instead of following the rules and regulations to gradually progress, purify the heart, and become, what's the word, increasingly advanced in devotional service, they just want to jump up to the advanced stages, imagining that they can achieve these higher states just by wanting to, or just by adopting some method, so some cheap method. So yes, yes. So the Avadhutas also, you can be a cheap Avadhuta, and there are people even outside the Vaishnava Sampradaya. There are people who call themselves Avadhutas, but they're just degraded. It's not that they're highly advanced souls who are behaving in an unconventional way. They're just degraded. And the example is the hippies. It's not that they were Avadhutas. It's just that they were degraded. Or there may be sannyasis who eat anything and everything and claim to be advanced. No, they're degraded. They've come down to the stage of lechas, and they're claiming to be paramahamsas. So one has to discriminate. Shruti Smriti Purnamadi. Those who don't follow the rules and regulations are considered a disturbance in the devotional path. We see that Sanatana Goswami and other such devotees strictly followed the regulative principles. It's not that they thought, now we're advanced, we can give these things up. Nidrahara viharakari vijito sankhya purvaka nama gana tipi. They were regularly chanting a fixed number of rounds. They were controlling their eating, their sleeping. Not that they were just, what's the word? Cheaply cutting a profile, undergoing such tapasya, so strictly following the rules and regulations. That's the idea, not cheaply imitating. Hare Krishna.
We have something in the chat. Saraswati Mataji writes, why would Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sometimes seek to escape or avoid large crowds of his admirers who were desperate to serve him by offering obeisances or hearing from him, etc.? We know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most magnificent, bestowing unlimited mercy to everyone.
Yes, it's a quality of the devotee that he prefers to be a little aloof. What is that? In the 12th chapter? Is it? Or is it 13? Let me just think a moment. And where is, oh, there's my Bhagavatam. Viviktadesha Sevitvam Adatir Janasangsati. Yeah. The devotee, Viviktadesha, devotee naturally prefers someplace that's quiet and calm and so on. He's not inclined to big crowds. So that's natural, and especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, particularly in his later pastimes, he was more internally focused than, more internally focused. Still, he would make arrangements, various occasions when big crowds of devotees could have his darshan, or where he'd take part in the Ratha Yatra. But it becomes a botheration. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to go to Vrindavan. Everybody wanted to go to Vrindavan. So then Sanatana Goswami suggested better not to go to Vrindavan this way. You go there and it'll just be it'll be like New York City. You'll go to Vrindavan, but you'll have, 1,000 people with you. How will you appreciate Vrindavan? It'll just be another mob scene. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to relish some particular feelings, so that he could do with Sri Damodar Ramananda Roy, just in secluded place, not with 1,000 people, 10,000 people. So it was according to the Lord's mood and purpose at the particular time. Sometimes, being very merciful, he would give his darshan to big groups or to Sankirtan, big festival. And other times he would want to be solitary. Also, typically, large crowds of admirers desperate to serve him or offering obeisances, that becomes a botheration. Oh, Maharaj, you're so great. Please give us your mercy. Please give us your blessings. Please give us your blessings. Do you remember me? Can I take your photo? It just becomes it becomes exhausting, and there's no depth to it really. It's just, okay, you're a sadhu and I'm a fallen soul, so please give your blessings. But you know, how much of that can a preacher do? Just, yes, bless you, yes, you too. Like what do they call that? A reception line, you know, where you receive all the guests at some state function or whatever. So yes, blessings to you, blessings to you, blessings to you, blessings to you. Yes, you can also have blessings. Bhakti Bikash Maharaj once joked that he was going to make a t-shirt, and the t-shirt would say, yes, I remember you. My health is fine. Yes, you may have my blessings. Because, you know, it's just person after person asking the same thing. It becomes wearisome. It becomes wearisome. So that sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not want to be bothered by such wearisome business or mix with such big crowds. He would want to exchange deeply with his close associates, Haridas Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, or still more secluded Brahmananda Roy, Sri Damodar Goswami. And through them, he would give mercy. We are learning from the Goswamis, the activities of the Lord with his intimate devotees. Because how much can you do with crowds? But the Lord would give them his mercy by having big kirtan festivals, big occasions where those sort of things could take place. That's okay.
Saraswati Maharaj writes, thank you so much, Maharaj Shri. Maharaj, I have a question, if it's okay.
Yes.
I'm wondering, before you had talked about that the pain tolerance is a superficial thing that can come and go, and it doesn't necessarily reflect the devotional consciousness. How do we become well versed in those things? What's a kind of a superficial thing that's just in the subtle body?
You have to see the person's dedication to serving. These other things, like Prabhupada said, tears in the eyes and ecstatic transformations, those can be practiced. One can make a show of those things. But the other symptoms are given of Yarta Kala Tvam to Nahamagana Sadaruchi. These were more emphasized to be eager not to waste any time, but to spend every moment in Krishna's service, to be very eager to Namaganas, chant Hare Krishna and hear and chant about the pastimes of Krishna, glories of the Lord. And especially Prabhupada emphasized detachment. The sadhus can make a show of being melted by love by hearing some Krishna Katha. But when it comes to detachment, no, they're not up to it. So Prabhupada especially pointed to detachment as, what would you say, a dividing line, or say, hallmark, genuine devotional service. The superficial detachment. My mother was an excellent hypnotic subject, and at one point, a hypnotist suggested to her that he would give her a bottle of the most exquisite perfume to smell, and that she would have the opportunity to do that. And she did, and she relished the scent of that exquisite perfume. But actually it was ammonia. So by mental adjustment, one can see ammonia to be, or experience ammonia to be like rose petals, or one can become detached from pain. By hypnosis, a state of deep dissociation can be invoked, under which even surgery can be, one can undergo surgery and so on. You can get anesthesia is not that hard to invoke. That the person without medication can develop effective anesthesia doesn't mean that they're now on the spiritual platform. It's by mental adjustment. So we have to see that the devotee is doing more than mental adjustment, but he has the genuine signs of advancement in Krishna consciousness. He's always eager to hear and chant about Krishna. He's always eager to use his full time in Krishna's service. He's detached from material sense gratification, attached to Krishna. This we have to see.
In the chat, Saraswati Mataji writes, can sahajas who fake transcendental motions still become purified, albeit slowly?
There's one, I mentioned this in a previous class, there's one purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita, only one. It's the only place I can think of in all of Prabhupada's writings where he grants the sahajas that concession, that because they're chanting Hare Krishna, even though with the wrong idea, their pseudo attachment may one day come to the point of real attachment. So something good. Even though they're doing it all the wrong way, somehow they're chanting the holy name. Some good effect will be there. But Prabhupada gave the example of cooking. You have your pot 10 feet above the fire, you'll get some heat, but not so much. You have to do things in the standard way. Put your pot right on the fire, and then your food will cook. So yes, there's some like future hope. Prabhupada framed it like that. Sometime in the future, we may develop genuine Krishna consciousness, genuine attachment to Krishna service. But that's not recommended. Therefore, because there'll eventually be some benefit. Therefore, we should take that path. We should take the standard path recommended by the Swamis.
Okay, we have some more things in the chat. Saraswati Mataji writes, was Kubja a sahaja?
No, but she's not an example of a pure devotee. Her love for Krishna is called kama pride. She had some desire to enjoy sense gratification with Krishna, but she had the personal contact of Krishna, and she wanted to serve him in a particular way according to her profession. So it's counted as devotional service. I haven't seen anything that calls her a sahaja, but that it's not esteemed as pure devotion because some desire was there for her own enjoyment, whereas the gopis had no interest in their own enjoyment. They were only concerned with Krishna's enjoyment. Hare Krishna.
Praveen Prabhu writes, it is not that one should create something out of sentimentality, become a sahaja and advocate such concocted devotional service. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur considered such sahajas to be more favorable than the impersonalists who are hopelessly atheistic. The impersonalists have no idea of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The position of the sahajas is far better than that of the Mayavadi sannyasis. Although the sahajas do not think much of Vedic knowledge, they nonetheless have accepted Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Unfortunately, they mislead others from authentic devotional service. CC Madhya 143, Praveen Prabhu writes.
Yeah, and there may be another purport. I'm not sure if that's the same one I was thinking of. But you can see there that, yes, compared to the impersonalists, maybe they're approaching in the wrong way, but somehow they're approaching Krishna. So that's a kind of good fortune. Even Kamsa, who was totally against Krishna, is praised as fortunate because he was thinking of Krishna, even though in the wrong way. So therefore he got the impersonal liberation. So anyway, the sahajas are trying to serve Krishna, but in the wrong way. But something, they're given a little credit here.
Okay, time for kirtan. Radesha Prabhu? Gurmaj, did you finish your thought? Sorry, did I cut you off?
No.
Okay. Radesha Prabhu, are you available for kirtan?
I'm maybe not in the best environment. I'm listening today.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Sham Sindhu Prabhu, was your audio all right now?
You
Yeah,
decide. How does it sound?
yeah, it sounds nice. You can try it. You can leave.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Naim Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai Navadip Tham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Ramanamai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Gaur.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami ki jai.
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari 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 Bol.
Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hari Krishna.
Jai.